Good morning, everybody. So this is December 21st, and it's going to be my first vlog for the standard RCQ season. I want to kind of document my morning and exactly kind of what's going on here. So I am getting ready for the day. I just got out of the shower, got dressed. So I'm going to go ahead and get some breakfast, and we'll see what we got going on up here. But the choice for the day is some eggs, some bacon, or not bacon, like chicken sausage, and some hash browns. So we're gonna mow down on the plate of this. Let's see if we can turn this camera around. Look at that. Oh yeah, the slow roll down to the food. So I like to do a high protein. So we got the chicken sausage and some eggs, a little bit of carbs with the hash browns, a little fatty, but we'll eat those and not have too much issues with it. But that's good brain food for the day. I like to get a nice hearty meal, and then we'll go check in as I start packing the bag and getting ready. So we'll catch you in a second. All right, I lied. I said I was going to check back in when I was packing the bag, but I was eating and had some thoughts about the day. So last night I did Friday Night Magic for the first time ever, and that was because they were doing a standard night, and I wanted to get some practice with my deck. And I went with a Boros Prowess deck, kind of tuned to the meta, something that I've been working on. I've been playing in Arena a lot. I got a pretty good win rate in Arena, like mid 60s%, with like 50 games played. So I feel really good about that deck in general. I think I'm probably still going to go with the Boros Prowess deck today. I know that there is the Gruul aggro deck that is a little bit more grindy, but I think the aggro decks lose in the grindy matchup because of, like, you don't want to go long. You want to be winning in as few turns as possible. And the way I have this Boros deck tuned is it does proc the prowess. It controls the deck with a lot of the white options in the sideboard and even some in the main board. Gives me some good life gain synergies as well, good evasion as well. So it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, because the Gruul I know has done well. Recently won the Arena championship or whatever that was a couple weeks ago, Arena Open, I believe it was. So all that to be said, I think that's what I'm going to run with today. It's not optimal. I am missing some cards. I didn't realize I was missing some cards, but we'll see what we can do there. So really this morning, this is kind of what I do in the tournament prep. I have about 40 minutes or so before I have to leave. So I'm kind of thinking through last minute changes to the deck based off cards I have. Before I go build my deck list, I like to build my deck list before I go, print it out. That way I'm not handwriting it. I will be leaving a blank line. Somebody's supposed to be letting me borrow some cards to play, because I somehow missed ordering burst lightnings, and I'm like, well, how do I not have burst lightnings? So don't currently have those in my possession, so hoping to borrow those. So we'll leave like a blank line on the sheet to fill those in if that person comes through for me. Actually, if you catch the Friday Night Magic, it was shout outs to Kevin. He was my first game I played, and he said he had a play set of burst lightnings that I could borrow. So let's hope that he comes through on those, and then I think I'll feel pretty good about my deck going into today. And then did some small sideboard tweaks as well based off of last night. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm thinking. Just mowing down on some eggs and chicken bacon and some hash browns here, thinking about the deck. Trying to get mentally ready. These are long days when you go into these tournaments. I mean, I only played 3 matches yesterday and I was exhausted. Albeit it was later. I didn't get home until after like 10. But this is a little bit more earlier in the morning. Well, not earlier in the morning. It's like it starts at 11, but fresher in the day. So that does help a little bit. But I'm trying to set myself up for success. Eat well, get my coffee, hydrate, and then go in confident with your choices of your deck and be ready to play that. So we'll check in as we start packing. All right, finished my food. Now it's time to go pack, get some stuff ready. Got to go in the basement here. We got gates to climb over, animals to keep contained. So, gonna have to make some tweaks to the deck. Got to find some cards here. We are still charging some stuff, and yeah, got a little bit of work to do. Let's figure this out. So sideboard is a little bit of an issue. Main board is a bit of an issue. The problem with the main board right now is I'm missing burst lightnings. And I'm hoping to borrow those. So in place of those, running some shocks. And in the sideboard, I am running Slag Storm for the board wipe when I really want to be running Split Up, but I don't have Split Up. I also think I'm going to bring in Exercise over like Destroy Evil and Get Lost. And then I think I'm going to bring in a couple Untimely Malfunctions. I think could be some interesting interesting gameplay, especially for like counterspell decks. As well as the Untimely Malfunction does allow me to get some damage through, so I can target up to 2 creatures to not be able to block, which could be really interesting. So I think that's the changes I'm going to make to the sideboard here. I got to punch this in into the computer, so I use Moxfield. Excuse me. I use Moxfield to build the deck, and then I use a decklist generator to punch that all in. And then actually we gotta find some cards. Where did we put these cards is the problem. I think these cards ended up in my modern box. So I use, let's see if we can switch the camera around here. I use these boxes to keep the various decks in. So like these are all my modern cards. And I was using Untimely Malfunction in a couple variations of Boros energy that I was playing. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to be trying to keep the cards separated by sort of their play type is the goal. So I will check in a minute once I have all this queued up. All right, we're back. I found the cards. I was getting a little worried they weren't in the box that I was looking for, but hey, we're back. We got the Untimely Malfunctions, and we got the Exercises. We're not running 4 Untimely. We're going to be running 2 of these. Actually, we're going to do the old school, like point the camera at the computer screen here, but this is kind of what we're running. Little preview for you as to be what's in the deck. But this is kind of how I set up my deck. So I have these Ultimate Guard. I believe these are like the 240 cases here. And then I will put in the actual like boulders. So I have a boulder on either side. And in one side, I keep the main deck. And then the other side, I keep the sideboard plus any tokens, extra sleeves that I might need. And then I do rock a little dice sleeve in here for like +1/+1 counters and things like that. So we'll actually try out a fun little feature. I'm going to do just a time lapse on this and see how that turns out. So we'll check in that. I don't think my hands have ever moved so fast in their lives. I wish I could actually card sleeves this fast, but here's just a brief overview of me pulling out the old cards and putting the new ones in. All right, So we made it here. We got a couple minutes to spare. Deck is ready. We really had to run out the door at the last minute there. So mindset is I'm a little stressed because I had to run out the door, ran out of time. But we are a couple minutes early, and so not much that we can do. So we'll check in with the games. We'll try to record the games as well when we dropping my bag when we get this going. So yeah, we'll check in a bit. All right, what's up, everybody? So match number 3 ends up being a bye for me. That's what happens when you go 0-2. But it's 6 rounds of Swiss today, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the rounds. I'm gonna cross the street here for practice. I realize I've made a couple punts. I actually could have won my last match. The player, so I kind of know him from around the scene. He brought it to my attention if I had given my Manifold Mouse trample, since it had a monster token on it. It was a 2/2 with trample, and when I was swinging with that and my Screaming Nemesis, I could have got the extra 1 damage that I needed to win that match. So that's a little tough to hear, and it's a gameplay error, right? It's the switch from Arena, which tracks all your triggers, makes it really clear, like how, the power and toughness of everything, and then now you're at paper and you're having to track everything, and so this is the issue in translating the digital skill set to the paper skill set, and something that I need to work on, right? And this is a journey, right? We started this summer, and I'm learning paper. Well, I'm not learning paper, like I'm learning how to play in paper, really. So it's a fun little thing. You're gonna make mistakes. I made mistakes in Modern. I'm gonna make mistakes here in Standard. I'm learning a new deck, new triggers, new everything. So I'm gonna finish out the day. I'm gonna do my 3 more rounds, and then I will move on with the day. I don't know if I win out for the rest of the day, if that will get me there. But I'll keep checking in, and we'll keep recording the matches. But just wanted to do a quick touch base on what is supposed to be match number 3, but I do have a bye, so we'll catch you in the next one. Hi, it's Future Me. So this video was a little weird. I recorded all of the matches, and I was kind of doing a vlog with the matches, and I decided I wanted to split the video into sort of the vlog for the day and the tournament for the day. So you get Future Me to close out the vlog and talk to you kind of about what went on the rest of the day and how it unfolded. So I did end up going 3-3 on the day. There was a cutoff at 4-2, but depending on who you beat, you may or may not have gotten in. So I think the last 2 positions, so 7th and 8th place, were 4-2, but depending on who they beat, it would depend whether or not they went into the top 8. So it was a larger tournament. There was 36 players, so we got to do 6 rounds of Swiss, and then it was a cut to top 8, and then the top players got RCQ invites. So overall, big tournament. All of the tournament players were there, and I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot of things. The first 2 matches that I lost in the day, you caught it there in the last bit of the vlog, were losses, obviously, but they could have been prevented, actually. If I hadn't punted, I likely would have won both of those matches, which would have put me at a 5-2 record, or a 5-1 record, actually, for the day, which would have got me into the top 8, obviously. So it's a little rough knowing that, hey, I could have got there if I hadn't made the mistakes. But you have to constantly remind yourself that, you're new, right? I started tournament play this summer of 2024, and I'm sitting across from people that have been playing for almost 20 years. The one guy that was really cool at the end, spent a lot of time with me just chatting,
He used to qualify for the Pro Tour all the time. He's played competitively for 12 years. He was on a team. He had sponsorships, and he was really cool. We spent like a half hour or something like that after the tournament, just chatting. And I was so exhausted, and I was trying to take in all the information. I was a little beat up because I was like, man, I put so much time, I put so much effort, so much research into this, and then you get a result like that. But it's part of any endeavor, any competitive endeavor that you ever do. Like you're sometimes going to show up and do well, and other times you're going to show up and not do well. And especially in this game is a game of large numbers, right? And so when you approach the game, you have to think about it that way. Like sometimes you're going to have bad luck. You're going to flood out. You're going to draw 7 lands in a row, or you're going to go 7 turns without drawing a land and you're sitting on 2 lands the whole time. Like there is variance in this game. However, it's what you do with that variance that really matters. You're playing with margins. If by being 1% better, or you are doing the not 1% better, but like the 1% better play is what I'm saying. So if you have 2 options between 2 plays and you choose the one that is 1% better, that 1% might actually be all you need to win. So for instance, the example I gave was I could have won one of those matches if I had given my Manifold Mouse trample instead of double strike. I was playing defensively and I was just trying to clear the board, give it double strike, the first strike capabilities there, and so that the mouse could live another turn, versus thinking, okay, if I had just get in 1 more damage, that would have won me the game. And it was really obvious afterwards. Like, it really would have won me the game. There wasn't anything they could do about it. We were both top decking. Neither one of us had cards in hand. And so there was nothing. There was nothing that they could do. There was no response. It was only what was on the board that mattered. And so if I had just done trample, and we were both at 1 life. This is the other thing. At the end of the game, we were both at 1 life for like two or 3 turns and just trying to top deck a win. And if I had just done trample, I would have won. And that would have put me at 4-2 at the very least at the end of the day, and potentially could have made the cutoff. So it's crazy to think about. And some people get like defeatist about that and a little upset about the results when they think about Magic and they get too much variance. I'm like, just look at any game that's like that. I mean, the notorious one is poker. People like to compare it to poker. I'm like, there's a reason the same top poker players are always at the same final table, right? And it's similar, but actually much, much better odds in Magic the Gathering, because you're building a constructed deck. You know what's in there. You're playing against known opponents and known decks. And so there is a variance that you have to deal with, but the variance is much smaller of a concern than optimal play. And that is something you can actually strive for. You can strive for optimal play. You can strive for, really understanding the game and being a student of the game and learning and working with the community and talking with people and kind of putting yourself out there and ask questions and just try to get help from people. And that is something I had to remind myself of on the drive home. I was feeling pretty upset about the results, because it was 2 big mistakes that could have won me 2 games, which could have put me at least into the top 8, and feel some sort of reward from all of the effort and time and things that I put into this. And folks, this is going to be raw. I am sharing this journey with you. You get to go watch my bronze and mythic runs and never make it to mythic, and just show you my learning process along the way. And the same thing is going to happen with these vlogs. I'm just showing you exactly what it's like to be out there, put yourself out there, try and fail and fail and fail and fail again, and then get incrementally better each time you fail, learn from those mistakes and move forward. And if I have any strength in this world, it's been that. I am a glutton for failure. I love failing. I want to fail fast. I want to fail often, and I want to learn from that. I can't just wallow in the failure. You have to learn from the failure. You have to do something with that failure, obviously, but I'm a glutton for it. I love it. I'm like, let's get in there, let's fail, and just keep doing it over and over and over again, and then learn each time, okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I get better? How can I get 1% better? How can I get 0.5% better? And just just get a little bit better each and every single time. And that's all I'm trying to do. And I'm telling you this because this is what I had to tell myself on the car ride home. It was, like I said, I felt pretty down. I felt pretty bad about it all. Even though there were so many cool people like giving me tips and things to think about, and specifically shout out to Jason. Jason spent the time afterwards and gave me a ton of information, some additional articles to read, even offered to help coach and give me additional like gameplay tips and tricks and things to keep in mind. And that's the kind of community you can find out there if you put yourself out there, be vulnerable, and ask for help. And I've been blown away. Everybody's talked about how like toxic the community can be, and I'm sure there are toxic players, and I've ran into toxic players. Let me just be completely honest with you. I've ran into toxic players, but by and large, the folks are out there are really open to just helping you out, and know that they all started somewhere too. It's just it's always really interesting because you're just running into a community of OGs, really, right? Like people have been playing for a decade, 2 decades, competitively, and you might just be starting out. And like I have somewhat of an advantage that I at least played the game over 20 years ago, but I have never been a competitive player in Magic. It's always funny, you get in these conversations and they talk about some combo, like all the unbannings that just happened. And they're like, oh yeah, this cool thing. And like, oh, it's back. And I'm like, I was never even there. This is the first time for me. Like, and you just got to be humble to that. Like, you don't have a history. You're building your history right now by putting yourself out there and playing. So all in all, it was a good day to go 3-3, which was much better than I've been doing when I first started, right? That's the other thing I had to remind myself of. Like, I don't know if you caught my earlier vlogs, but I was just excited to get one match win or one game win. It started. I was like, I want one game win. Okay, I got my one game win. How do I get a match win? So out of a best of 3, how do I get my match win? I got my first match win and was over the moon. And I'm like, okay, cool. How do I consistently get one match win? All right, I figured that out. Now, how do I consistently get 2 match wins? And then figure that out. And then 3, and then 4. And then like, okay, how do I continue to qualify for the championship rounds, like the top 8 cutoff or the top 4 cutoff? How do I consistently do that, right? That's the next, cutoff. So for me, I had to remind myself, like, I got 3 wins. Like, I got 3 match wins. Well, let's actually think about this. So it was 2 match wins and a bye. So it counts as 3 wins, but 2 match wins and a bye. So that being said, like, okay, I went 3-3 on the day. That was the record for the day. And 2 of those losses I know were just mental errors. Like, I could have won those games. So like, I need to feel good about that. I need to feel good about that progress and just continually show up and perform and just figure out how you take on that next echelon and consistently reach that next echelon over and over again until eventually you're consistently getting into the finals rounds. You can get your invites. You're consistently going to the regional championships. And then it's like, okay, how do I qualify for the regional championship every quarter? And then you start getting closer and closer to your goal, which for me personally is qualifying for the Pro Tour, right? So all that to be said, I just wanted to share with you. This is a vlog. It's raw. It's emotional. It is what it is. I'm trying to share the good, the bad, and the ugly with everything, and just be open and honest with everybody about what it takes and what's involved with being a tournament player. And I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to say stupid stuff. I'm going to be uneducated in certain areas. And that's fine. I'm here to learn. And that's why I love the comments. That's why I love the community sharing things with me. And everybody's been pretty cool for the most part. Some people call me dumb or, hey, that was stupid. You shouldn't do that. I'm like, I know. Like, I know. I'm figuring it out, right? I got to make the mistakes. I got to fail. And I'm just doing it publicly. And I hope you're enjoying the ride along the way. And so we're going to do something a little different. Like I said, with this vlog, I wanted to do, I originally had the plan of doing like the vlog and the tournament all in one. I'm actually splitting it. So here's the vlog. you got my thoughts, you got my feelings about the tournament. I'm going to also release at the same time the actual tournament itself. So I will release all 5 rounds that I played in the tournament, and you'll get to see that as another video right here on the channel. That way you can kind of go watch that tournament through, see how that goes. I'd love some feedback on that video as well, what I can do to make it better. But that was a really fun experience to be able to record the actual tournament itself. And so I thank you for hanging out with me. If you've made it this far in the video, you know the thing. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Come check out the live streams on Twitch and on YouTube. Follow along on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube so you know when I go live. And then, check out the videos and come hang out with me while I try to do this whole Magic the Gathering thing. So until next time, we'll catch you all at the table.